Okay, I'm back with another streaming session. Okay, so this time, okay, we're gonna continue back with our gameplay with Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. We started playing this yesterday, and basically, like, what happened? We've just went through our childhood. Okay, it seems like there's a couple of stages. Okay, I think it just continue and so that you can see. Okay, there's different parts here. Okay, and like oh, we can restart. They did say if you die you can actually restart the chapter. But anyhow, so we went to our childhood. Okay, and basically we found out that the world is very black and white in terms of social hierarchy or the social caste. Okay, basically there's two types, as we know. One is the nobles, another one is the commoners. The nobles were born to lead. The commoners will have to suffer. And it seems like the twin gods, they are the the supernatural is there, because like we did sense a couple of it didn't mention directly, but it's implied that. Okay, and let's continue, because like we're gonna get an overview before we enter. Okay, we're gonna get an overview. I think we've read this yesterday. Yeah, I think we've read this yesterday. Yeah, we've read this yesterday. Okay, so you're going to get a couple of let's say like overview or like the requirement. So without a doubt, I feel like I'm gonna go for Gloria's secret, because like we are quite close to Gloria, and Steven, I don't like say Forbidden Love. I doubt that he is going to be I doubt he's going to be like falling in love with another commoner, just like Father did. Okay, so it's mostly like homosexuality. Like I got like, if possible, I want to kick him out. Blood tide of Brante family, not keen to this. Nathan's admonition from you. Like I did it. I also want to save this girl, but we're gonna have quite a hard time because we have quite a low willpower. Our willpower currently is at negative. Wait. Personal stats, huh? Dude, can we see our personal stats? Here, -5. So we gotta like constantly keep our willpower above 0 so that we can rescue Sophia, and that's one thing that we need to pay attention to. So like, bear with it, okay? Like, I don't know why, like when we do something we're gonna spend willpower. There are like some actions that for the positive, it does like increases your willpower. Think about you help out your mom, like in this case yesterday we help our mom, like, and then see mom smiling. Shouldn't that actually like increase your willpower as rather than decrease it? It's a bit sad. Okay, so I think that's it for the overview, and let's head into the chapter. In yellow. Sometimes it takes a long time to wait for it to load. Huh? Huh? Yep. Okay. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes at all times. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, the future of Brante family. And I wonder what happened to Gloria, our sister. She's is she in the same situation as us? Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. You can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It is a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they left Nathan in your care. You lost track of time over the books in the sitting room. Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging for you to come outside. He's on the porch, sobbing and all covered in dirt. You walk up to him, and he continues to bawl. It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. I said I'll call my brother. He's still there. You have to punish him, Scummo. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see two boys lingering on the porch. They are both clearly commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way. Just like him, the other looks older, almost your age, but he's more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Thomas. You heard it before. That's Gamu. That's him. Nathan points at the younger brother and hides behind your back. Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeve to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a damn about you or your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fight with people who can throw him in the mud. Your hands clench into a fist before you react. Nathan called them name first. No wonder they did the same. That's how it goes, but pushing a brother into a ditch is a bit too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You are about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn to see your head to Nathan, the one who started this whole mess. Why? So your brother is to blame. Probably like I need to, because I think there's one chance in the church, but I did not met the requirement. Okay, resolve the matter peacefully. This quarrel can be resolved peacefully. You turn to Thomas and offer to solve the problem like adult. His brother will apologize to Nathan, and Nathan will apologize to him in return. There's no need to fight anymore, and you will give Nathan a piece of your mind when you get home. You and Thomas are all grown up, and should act your age, you say. The blood rushes to Thomas' face when he hears this. Act our age, you say? Are you calling me a baby? You better shut your trap. This is all he says before he attacks. You barely dodge his fist flying at your face. He starts trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage. The younger brothers gawk in awe at the sight. Thomas did not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fist aim for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him, but he takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You started swinging your fist with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will it take? You're worn out. Your breath grows ragged and your muscles grow weary. But there is no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching you. Desperate and out of option, you swing and punch Thomas square in the nose and immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your head like a bell and blinds you for a moment. The world swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Thomas is standing in front of you, blood dripping from his nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it too. But you keep standing there, eyeing each other angrily. Then, suddenly, you hear an angry shout next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman's apron is shaking his fist. Thomas' face contorts in terror right away. It's my father! Run! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the more prospect of that makes you run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wooden planks of the back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sounds of pursuit. You exchange glances with Thomas and started laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. Hey, I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating. And then he'll start nagging me about the laws and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting is the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? You can solve this in a smart way rather than just punching your way. So I think that he got that a bit wrong. The adult didn't see you fighting, you tell him. So all you have to do now is convince them you weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Huh? Is it our mother or his mother? Well, we could try. We could try it. Let's hope our little brother don't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good as new. You're sure that Nathan will never tell in return? You'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed in a ditch like that. With that, you shake your hands with Thomas. His handshake is as strong as you would expect of his fist. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Thomas' father goes to your family complaints about you breaking your lot. You come to a realization on the way back. You had no idea the place where you're hiding even existed. He wasn't too far from home. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I'll tell you what, if you get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old fortress wall. It's the perfect place to build your own fort. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps. He just gets in the way. You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you made a friend today. Spirituality. Huh? What is spirituality? Your aspiration to unlock mysteries. Wait. Like, isn't this like supposed to be like creationism and stuff? I got a feeling that this will unlock the awakening, maybe. Well, let's go ahead. Continue. You have made a friend, a boy named Thomas. The tech engine. Next year? Oh, I'm 9 years old now. Excuse me. It is blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. As soon as you are done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. When Thomas rolls up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps, you would gladly go shirtless had you only been in company of other boys. But there are 3 girls, huh? Woo! 3 girls. They're doing the laundry in a big washed up, whispering and giggling. If you could, you would gladly keep watching one of them at work. She has big eyes of deep blue. Her dark hair is braided, and her plain grey dress is mended and patched all over. We did the same. Her name is Sylvia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. Wait. Sophia. You should love telling all tales, Discover. Oh, I remember this one time. But then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking. Uh-oh. Oh no! But then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles. Oh shit! Oh shit! The street starts shaking from the top. Oh god! I don't have enough! I don't have enough! Oh power god! The street starts shaking from the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the roof from around the corner. They bear a coat of arms you recognize right away. A sable serpent blade upon a field of vert. She simulated the Milandias dynasty, the family of your province Archduke. The horse dashed forward. A lost wooden toy on the road tracks under the hooves. They will not slow down, they are the nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Oh! Sophia! Oh, come on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me turn this off. It's like... where is it? Where is it? Where's the chat? The thing is that I've actually planned them, but like it appears anyway because like this is not YouTube. This is like it's filtered through Streamlabs chat. Ah shit! Ah! Come on! Sophia is in the way, just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately from beyond the fax door. You freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop, or are they going to trample her? Only a few moments. In only a few moments, the beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. I want to go. Stay where you are. You stand frozen by the roadside, unable to look away as the sound look away as the cloud of dust covers the entire street. You feel as if a massive maddened beast whipped into a merciless frenzy had just passed you by. You hear no screams, no cracking of bones, nothing but the deafening din of the hooves. Oh hell. Once the horses are gone and the dust settles, you can finally see the road again, and the repulsive blob of blood, flesh, and bone left on it. You can see traces of Sophia in that mess, her dark hair, the remains of her dress. But it is no longer her. Sophia's earthly remains slowly dissipate and melt into the air. Her mother's eyes are filled with grief as she watches. She hunches over and slowly walks back to the house. You can still hear the riders far away down the road. None of them even bother to look back. Damn it! Your friends walk away at a loss for words. You make your way home, dazed by what you've seen. You are still dazed as you retell these events to your mother, unable to look up from the floor. After a moment of silence, she embraces and calms you down. Poor girl. What a terrible and painful death. But you know that it was not her true death. By the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you'll be brought back by their grace. For 3 times they will rescue you from terrible fate. But the 4th death is the true and final death, final for all. Every loss of life we were granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death. Everybody will keep on living as though nothing has happened, even Sophia's parents. I think they did. Okay. Let me restart. Let's see if I can restart it. Okay. Yes. Give me a second. We're gonna continue, but we're gonna reset. We're gonna rewind this chapter. Okay. We're gonna rewind the chapter. There's only one choice. Before that, which is the one with Thomas. I'm gonna suck it up. Say your brother is to blame. It takes you a few moments to compose yourself and quell your rage. Your brother has put you on the spot. He couldn't bring himself to apologize, and now you have to settle this for him. How are you supposed to do that? Pray tell. If you had done this, grandfather would have you flogged, and father would have scolded you and given you the cold shoulder for the days afterwards. You frowned and asked Nathan to come closer. You addressed Nathan sternly. He told you these boys were to blame, but he was the one who called them names first, so how is this their fault? You served him right. Next time he should watch his mouth. Your lecture sounds a lot like father. You think your tirade came out well enough. Nathan pouts, looks away, and furrows his brow. Still, he nods. Thomas slowly shakes his head in disapproval. Then he bursts out laughing. To him, this is actually hilarious. Well, would you look at that? You're right, little nobleman. Are you gonna push him into the ditch yourself now? His words turn to a seemingly perfect solution into a repulsive absurdity. Blood rushes to your face. You step closer to Thomas and shove him hard. He jumps back, surprised by your assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he is ready. His fists cover his face, and he attacks you with a quick jab. Now it's your turn to take a step backward. Okay, I think this is the same. Okay, we're dodging it again and again, and then later the father's gonna come. Okay, let's skip. I can't save her. I can't save her. I can't save her. Can't save her. I can't save her. Unless I do chapter 1. But I don't want to redo chapter 1. We've finished that. Don't want to redo this. Chapter 1. Oh, come on! Okay, fine. We'll let it be. Maybe we'll replay this again, but this time, maybe next time, we are probably gonna be. Next time we're gonna try and save her. You see that we can't do much about it, so we skip until the mother. Here. We stop here. I think we've read this as well. Their family is poor. They have no family crypt like we do. When the girl's soul comes back to life, her body will be reborn in the city church with all her wounds healed. Do not mourn her, my son, but thank the twin gods for their justice. You see Sophia by her house a few days later. Huh? What the? What the? What the? Huh? You see Sophia by her house a few days later? She looks completely fine, without so much a scratch. The other children tell you that her parents now forbid her to leave the yard after dying such an early first death. You call out Sophia's name. She looks at you briefly, then walks back inside. Sophia never talks to you again. Damn it! I'll definitely play it again. Like, for me, okay, let's establish a rule right now, okay? I will only redo the chapter that we're in, okay? We're only going to redo the chapter we're in, and we are not gonna go to like the previous chapter. That's the ground rule for this. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incident with the horses. Her friends gossip that her parents sent her off to serve a rich noble dynasty. You haven't seen each other since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, the sunlight shining in them. But no matter what, life goes on. You are 10 years old now. Your study continues, and you are learning more about the land you live in. Anizot is an ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All soil in Magra was turned to ash aeons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of Duke Shar Milandius. The magical arts are all but gone, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching wind in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root their own. All fertile land in Magra is bought elsewhere and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. To pay for food and soil, the cities of Magra became skilled in many trades, primarily mining and digging for metal and stone. Last fall, where there was an explosion just outside the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke, the first such incident frightened the citizens, but then, explosion and smoke became an everyday occurrence. Soon, everyone grew used to it. Father explained that the miners are now using a new invention called gunpowder. It makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Then, one day, a thunderous explosion rocks the city. A black and billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes, all windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody is watching. Your mother hears it. She'll make you inhale those hot herbal vapors just like Nathan. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour out onto the street to meet their friends. Thomas is eager to share everything he knows about this incident with you. They took a lot of burned up people to the city temple. Mom told me she was helping the healers. There are many rumors. Some claim it was the work of the beast served from its slumber, while others say it's the surviving witches that continue to threaten the order of the empire with their accursed powers. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home. Then you ask him about it. Father spends day and night working at the prefecture, while Mother spends all her time in prayer. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home. He's almost completely spent. You muster enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened outside the city. Father raises his head, his face a bleak, wearing mask, and starts muttering proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside the city. They were trying to get to a vein of ore. There was an explosion. The mine caved in, and the black smoke started flowing. Many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mines, wanted them to start mining that vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture has been inundated with complaints from families that lost their breadwinners, asking the judges for help. Many people have also lost their cattle to the black smoke. Count El Velasco blames gunpowder for this disaster. The prefecture and the newspaper just repeat whatever he says, but it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen that are to blame. Why is the welfare of our province always paid with commoners' life? So this is like they're building up for the revolution, because we did see that revolution is gonna be a part of it later on in our lives. Then, without a warning, he grows silent again. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? Yeah. But then, Sophia, she was brought back. A single moment of bad luck and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple or the family crib with a new black mark on your arm. Or worse, you remain where you fell, dead, never to be reborn again. Ever. So basically, it's like a Dragon Quest thing. Peace went down. Became more affluence. Can we really change that? During lunch, father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stephen will be returning home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather, Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You're excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed during his years away from home? Probably more stuck up. You and father await the guest anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is first to come in, naturally. He has not changed a bit since his last visit. Still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver, whom you barely recognize as your brother. Seven casts a glance at your threadbare clothes and dirty fingernails, and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. You have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Elborn, Stephen's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus your father's superior. Sir Elborn smiles slightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your younger son, Scummel, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Really? Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there's a moment of quiet when Stephen's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There's a question in Stephen's eye as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noble aren't put our emotions on public display, father. Not even after a lengthy separation. There is no embrace. Instead, Stephen nods to father curtly. He responds in kind. His face is devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is first to enter. He kisses your mother's hand, and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair after he sees him hiding by the table. Grandfather acknowledges them with a glum nod. Like, it seems like Elborn is kind noble, because, like, you know, with kissing the hand and tussles Nathan's hair, I think I want to be on his good side. Greetings, Lydia Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child. And you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. You proceeded to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. Dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you really choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stephen spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Okay, I'm really liking him because he's, even though I bet that he know that that our mom is a commoner. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at grandfather. He looks like he was about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love. I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stephen. Oh. So, Stephen is, you know, Stephen's mother is actually, you know, Augustin's, you know, brother. But then there was still family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? Now I wonder how did Stephen's mother die? And besides, his father was by his side all the time. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps. And who knows, perhaps even the younger men of the Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy, low-born cretin! Everybody is startled by this sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turned red. He's glaring at a young lady, servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stephen is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Begone this instant! The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on the small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears that the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Stephen glares at Gloria across the table. She is sitting next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over under his gaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stephen's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. Then she starts to raise from her chair. If the Brante gentleman so wish it. Your hand clashes into a fist under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? It is all grandfather's doing. Stephen could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission. And yet they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not want to see it. Okay. Like, it is like at the end Stephen's fault for uttering those words, but you gotta blame the root of it is grandfather. So I think like I'll go for Gloria. You rise from the table and help your sister wait on your family. You deliberate for a moment, then take a napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later, you hear the sound of another chair moving. Mother joins you. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Airborne tries to make small talk with father, but in vain. So he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stephen. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stephen's achievement at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword fighting skills. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. As you wait at the nobleman's table, you, your sister, and mother never bump into each other. Your labor is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault with it even if he tried. Your shoulders and back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and shed their humiliation, and the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. Ooh, +10! Nice! I wish I had that earlier! Damn it! I wish I had that earlier! Then we could have saved her! Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anizot prefer to remain in their chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You're on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance, and you're to deliver it. Thomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable right now. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the parts of Anizot where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Thomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to serve some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. This is our lot, you remind him. We work, endure, and suffer. But Thomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know all of that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble, our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you. But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you for example, Brante. Your father's a nobleman, but even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You never had to work hard as me, but we have the same lot. We're supposed to suffer the same. Or look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at the prefecture day and night doing his judging. And he's a noble? I've never seen an Archnian work as hard as he does. You shrug. The Archnians are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Yeah, this is also mentioned during the prologue, but they haven't, explained it. Humans will never be their equals. Archnians are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course, you have never seen one by yourself. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rebel like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestones and see flags bearing a coat of arms. A sable serpent on a field of bird. He makes his it is the Archduke coat of arms. The Milanidas dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in luxurious dress. Wait a second. Milandias. Okay. Wait, double check. Overseer in power. The balance of Magra who rules power. Overseer in power. Reign of terror. Wait. Reign of terror. Fall of the new faith. Fall of the old faith. Old faith. Affluent. Peace. Okay, who is this young lady? You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders suggest, but not revealed by the cut of her dress, her black hair cascading over them. Her stately slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes dark like the night sky. The way she moved, fluidly, gracefully, and most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She's a masterpiece given life. She's an Archnian. This is something like Attack on Titan, how Mikasa is being portrayed, except for the skin color, of course. Like, she's the only Asian in the story. Well, other than Levi. Clear the way for me. The Milandias guardsmen work quickly to clear the way for a fountain of to the fountain for the Archnian lady. The searing sun dances her skin in a bizarre pattern. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be next Octavia Milanidas, our Archduke's own daughter. Oh God. Okay, we can't fall in love with her. The Archnian turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestone right next to you. Her handkerchief. It is right there by your feet. Intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Archnian attention in order to return her lost possession? Or will you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? Okay, fine. Let's give it to her. Give the handkerchief back to Octavia. It takes a moment to overcome your fear. You follow the young lady Milanidas and call out to her in a nervous voice. She turns around, her beautiful face marred with puzzled expression. You extended the dropped handkerchief towards her. Lady Octavia's face contours into a sneer. She signs to the guardsman indifferently. The guardsman, gauntlet-clad hands, slaps you in the face. What? It rings your head like a heavy bell. Your nose cracks obediently under the staggering force. The rest of you follow suit. You fall prone. You can discern the guardsman's voice through the painful din in your ears. Should I take the handkerchief back, lady? After a commoner has befouled it, let him wipe himself with all for all I care. Okay. I'll definitely remember this. You remember me, but I'll definitely remember you. Unless she had a change of heart, I'm not gonna be on her side. The carriage drives away. Thomas runs up to you and drags you back to the fountain. Your head is still ringing from the blow. The fateful handkerchief is still crumpled in your hand. Willpower. Met the girl. Oh. What part of that is romantic? What part of that is romantic? Seriously? What part of this is romantic? Wait, why is it shining over there? Okay, 12 years old now, you overhear an important conversation. It is spring night and mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past your father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling and father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they mention you too. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be of low-born, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of lesser quorum. I don't give a damn who this Egmont is, Robert. What he is, however, is low-born. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They are nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm noble hand to guide them. So I assume now that Stephen is also an Archnian. Like Gregor is definitely... Wait. Gregor became a noble. Is he an Archnian? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he's not an Archnian. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree, but that accursed Cornelius Tempus did everything in his power to make the emperor sign that prophetic screed. And now even lowlights can wield power. True power, Robert. Just the right to discuss the size of Archduke's tax, nothing more. That is only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the lowlights now? Make them into judges? If the empire rejects the foundation and the lords, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah, who am I telling this to? It's already crumbling, and you, my son, and heir, are harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you, I do not wish to marry a 3rd time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you will only allow her to, I will allow them nothing, neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going. I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where noble and lowlife share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true. They will never call me Venerable L. Brante, and it all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stephen addressed in such a manner one day. Thanks the twins, I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of Brante. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from the common lot? They are incapable of anything. The best of your middle son could ask is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle. Although I have grave doubt about even that. As for the drowned toad Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever. You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps and the starting of his cane and slamming the door. It's time to sneak back home before you're discovered. Wait, where are you now? Double check. Wait. What pass? Okay, study. Father study. Sneak back home. Is it like in a separate is it separate from your house? Ooh, overseer in power. You started studying in at the school of Sir Sever and began to master the sciences. If I'm not wrong, I'm 12, right? Or 13? Wait, Destiny. Let's check. I didn't save Sophia. Well, at the very least, let's go for this. Revelation of the Tree. How? And I'm gonna go for Gloria. I doubt I can go for Steven's Disgrace. Yeah, I think we go for Gloria. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to your house, but before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put the books away, Father asks you to come to his study. You've grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a deserving school for you. Sir Sever's School for the children of noblemen and well-off commoners. Naturally, it is not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study there during the day and come home in the evening. You share the news with your best friend Thomas. Sir Sever's School, eh? I gotta ask my friends to send me there as soon as they get the coins together. Father says his workshop has toiled day and night for years to save for my education. Oh, Thomas is with us! This is gonna be good! The school is based on an ancient and state-of-art design. The classrooms are tall and spacious with massive benches. The sounds of scraping wheels and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulted ceilings. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Thomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day, Father asks you about your studies. You have told him twice now how Margaret joined the Empire and how the noble court of honor is different from commonest civil court in the city prefecture. But Father keeps pressuring you to work even harder. When it's time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. Oh, come on. And when it is time to go to school, you promise her every day that you will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behavior of any kind. For you still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Your first month in school draws to a close, and the teachers announce that there will be an exam at the end of the month and to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insists that you devote all your spare time into studying law and history if you wish to follow his footsteps. But when you speak to Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to you in your earliest years. You have only one more day until the exam. You have locked yourself away in the room. It is getting late. Your desk is covered with handwritten notes, surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy. But you have to read through them again, at least for one of your subjects. There is a nagging thought on your mind. Thomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who lived next street. They heard about your wooden fortress and got into an outrage by the fortification built by commoners. They swore to dismantle it tonight. Thomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps you should abandon the book to rescue your friend in need? But then, you hear your little brother Nathan knocking the door. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that, standing still and staying speechless until either of you speak first, or he runs away. But this time, he actually says something. The door is locked. Are you okay, Scamo? Is there anything I can do to help? Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, the family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law or theology. Either one or the other. But Thomas and your fort are about to be stormed. Why today of all days? You grind your teeth in rage and at the thought. Nathan is by the door, trying not to bother you. He wants to help you, the only way he can, for reasons known only to him. You're not making this easy for me. Seriously, you're not making this easy for me. For me, I think like it's either 1 or 4. Focus on law and history, or spend a moment with Nathan. Okay, spend time with Nathan. You cannot help but pay attention to your brother's quiet, weak voice. You push the books away. Nathan runs to you and wraps his arm around your legs. They should just leave you alone. I don't want you to get sick. Warmth emanates from his hands. You feel the burden of responsibility thrust upon you from your shoulders. At last you realize something. You can make your own decision rather than submitting to the will of others. You laugh at this realization and feel a new spring in your step. Nathan laughs with joy when he feels this. He takes your hand and pulls you outside. You've studied enough. You spend the rest of the evening playing with your little brother, teaching him how to build a watchtower out of wooden planks, sticks, and old rags behind the house. Nathan's success in construction leaves much to be desired, unlike his skill in covering himself in mud. Still, he is absolutely overjoyed. The morning comes. You barely have time to wake up before you are walking to the menacing edifice of the school. The entire day is constant flow of questions and demanding answers. You give satisfactory responses on law and history, although you are somewhat confused by the many technicalities of the chronological orders. Your knowledge of the interpretation of the law leaves much to be desired. Your parents are dissatisfied with your performance. You knew that you could have worked harder. Still, you believe yesterday was not a waste. Okay. Willpower. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realize there is a certain hierarchy even within the noble estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of the more eminent human and the Archne gentry. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. So what is the difference between noble of the mantle and those of the sword, Scamo? You already have an answer ready. The latest status is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Archnians, the noble of the sword are the most eminent humans in the empire. They own land and estates. They fill offices of the highest rank, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. Nobility of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. Oh, and how are such eminent people addressed? With the honorific L before their last name, you respond. Wait. Nobility can... Overseer of the province or the emperor himself. Sir Augustine L. Bourne, for example. Father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased. And what about the Archne and their status? What have you learned about them? The Archne stand above human gentry. They are born to rule over humans regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of their of their dynasties are known to all. Father notes somberly, yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Agni tells you and never defy them. Ever. And what about grandfather and me? How do we stand as nobles? That is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by any commoner as a reward for great service to the empire in the legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks you in the eye intently. Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son, all in due time. Sir Tivor's school teaches children of all stripes. Nobles of the mantle and law-born parents can send their sons here. And every passing day, the children of noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. Most of the time, the bully leading them is Diedrich, the son of the secretary of the imperial chancellery and a self-important slob. The sons of noblemen never pick on you, however. They know that your father has been a noble by the mantle. However, Diedrich and his retinue soon choose Thomas as their favorite victim. Time and time again, you ask your friend not to pay any mind, but again and again, Thomas grows angry and snaps at their self-satisfied mockery. It is early morning. The students are busy flocking to the classroom for the next lesson. Oops. You wave Thomas over when you see him. He waves back at you. Then a bucket full of slop splashes at him. Needless to say, it is the work of Diedrich and his entourage. You hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folks? Thomas clenches his fists. You're dead, Diedrich. He throws himself at Diedrich's haughty entourage like a soldier ready to wage war. He attacks them first. This is just what they expected, and they are free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Diedrich sneers and kicks your friend in the belly. Thomas gasps for air and starts coughing. You stand between them as Diedrich readies for another kick. The nobleman's son cocks an eyebrow. Why do you mingle with commoners, he asks. Your father is a noble of the mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind, your equals, not the dirt beneath your feet. Behind him, 4 boys hold Thomas as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching you, frozen in fear. Diedrich haughtily extends a hand to you. He clearly expects you to shake it. What would you do? Nope. You challenge the nobleman's son to a single combat. Ooh. The children of Paris who have been ennobled by the mantle still bear the commoner's lot. Can I see my stats? Where's my stats? Wait, I can't see my stats. Okay. Nobility. I guarantee that if I shake hand with him, I'll gain nobility. If I start to fight with him, I'm gonna lose willpower. Turn him over to the teachers. Which one will give me ingenuity? I think admonish the nobleman's sons will give me ingenuity. Remember, we're going for Gloria. You make a speech not to bully to the lead bully himself, but rather his retinue. How come Diedrich see himself fit to instigate fight? His family may be higher in rank, but like everyone else here, he has yet to take a nobleman's sacrament himself. The nobleman's lot is not yet his, so he is not yet fit to fight or rule. Nor are any of you. The twin gods are watching over us, you add. This is spiritual! The twin gods are are ever watching over us, you add. They are ever vigilant. How dare you defy their will? Dederick tries to retort. They have broken no laws, he says. As they have done, all they've done is teach commoners meaning of suffering. You call upon the knowledge gained from the theology class. Easily picks his argument apart. Every man's first duty is to follow his lot, and Dederick and his friend lack the humility to accept that they are not yet true nobles. The hands holding Thomas down grow weak. There is a whisper among the students around you, and you're right. The twins are always watching how we follow our lots. Dederick retinue quickly dissolves in embarrassment. He quickly orders them to come back and join his cause, but his exhortations are all in vain. The other boys are clearly impressed with your words. The noble children will think twice before acting out again. I don't want this. I want ingenuity. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, we're going to redo it, and this time we're gonna choose tell on the teachers. Huh? No. Like, I want to unlock Rob's sister. Okay, redo. Okay, we're gonna skip. Give me a second. Let me skip all of this. Go for ingenuity. Say your brother is to blame. Say your brother, ingenuity. I have to go through Sophia's death again. Damn it. Hated myself for that. Oh, hate myself. Okay. Then now, like, we're gonna have a choice to go with what's Olivia? Olivia's one. I'm not gonna give it back. This one, I think, join Gloria in her plight. Okay, continue. Willpower plus 10. 11 years old. Okay, this is where we'll meet the girl. Like, I do want to fall in love with her. Like, I think that this will give us ingenuity. Stash a trophy. Quickly hide the trophy, planning to sell it later. Octavia finishes a graceful return to the carriage. It takes off and the carriage disappears from the square. Then, you look at Thomas and show him the handkerchief you're holding. It's time to show him how to start earning that fortune. Your eyes single out a traveling peddler in the crowd, and when you finally get his attention, you pull the splendid handkerchief from your pocket. The peddler smirks knowingly, finders keeper, and the noble who lost it certainly won't keep weeping over it. Truth be told, it is truly exquisite handkerchief. It still looks quite presentable and will fetch a fair price. After some haggling with the stingy peddler, you trade it for some small fortune, 4 coins. Half of this sum you gave it to Thomas. But this was all your handiwork, Scamo. Okay? You just grin at him. He can find the next handkerchief. Thomas laughs and you head off to the fruit stall together. Willpower plus 5. Bad. But I do wish for ingenuity, you know. Okay. Start school. Tell on the teachers. This one here. Maybe focus on law. Like I say, I want ingenuity. Oh, what will I get if I go for Thomas? Family, personality. I doubt you improve anything. How skillful you manipulate the situation. It affects your ability to survive without privileges of nobility, and future skills that are crucial for a commoner. Oh! Help Thomas? If law and history, probably nobility. Let's help Thomas. Like I say, I want ingenuity. You push Nathan out of the room. He cannot possibly help you prepare for the exam. But once you're sure nobody's behind the door, you open the window and climb out the yard and over the fence. And then you land like the wind to your wooden fort where Thomas is in peril. The battle for the fort has already begun. Thomas is cornered. He swings a wooden plank, fending off 3 boys at once. This is not a fair fight by any means. Your friend is rugged enough to have a fighting chance against 2 of them, but 3 is too many for him to handle alone. Where have you been, Scummo? They are about to smash our fort. Get them! You flank the assailants and slam into them at full speed, channeling the cavalry of the holy warriors. You take them by surprise as you pull one of the aggressors away and knock him out with a punch to the jaw. Thomas cheers you on. You team up and make short work of remaining foes. Your enemies retreat in shame. Thomas got a black eye, his knuckles are all covered in blood, but he looks unusually pleased with himself. Couldn't have done it without you. Just look at them trying to tell us where to build our fort. Okay, time to fix her up. Your score on the exam was merely satisfactory, but still well above a failing grade. Your family is not too happy with you, but life goes on. Your study continues. You know you could have worked harder to prove yourself to the teachers, but your wooden fort still stands proud, and this is what matters. Yes, ingenuity up. Remember, we need 4 ingenuity. You need 4 ingenuity to unlock Gloria. And go. Where is it? I'm trying to unlock this one here. Ingenuity more than 4. Sons of nobility. What will you do? Turn him over to the teachers. You fold your arms across the chest, declare that Diedrich and his followers will pay dearly for their insolence. Their parents may be nobles, but they are not yet nobles themselves. Here at school, we are all equals. Diedrich's entourage is about to swarm you too, but the teacher of the Imperial Law come into the room just in time. Everybody immediately returns to their seats. Once the lesson is over, you tell the teacher how Diedrich and his friends have been starting fights and picking on people. They're children of nobles, yet not nobles themselves, which means they are guilty of defying their lot and encouraging other students to do the same. The law teacher furrows his brows when he hears this. He assembles all the students and admonishes them. Any student caught in defiance of his lot will no longer be welcome at school. The twins are always watching over us, and the school will not suffer the presence of troublemakers who defy their will. Oh, good! They got kicked out! Ooh. Bros before hoes. His dream is to change his lot, get a military education, and earn the right to a sword. He intends to join the Imperial Legion. The nobleman's sons reluctantly agree. There is no good reason to risk picking on nobles when the punishment is so high. To say Deirdrick is angry at you would be an understatement, but he can no longer hurt you or Thomas. The bullying stops. Oh, one more! 13 years old. Ooh, is this where we're gonna get our revelation? Like this one here? Here, the revelation of the tree. I think I wanna get it. Your theology teacher tells you more about Anizot. It is more than just a provincial capital. It is also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twins' gods' first disciples spilled their bloods, and from that blood grew the sacred silver tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you have never approached the trunk of the tree yourself. Now, remember that how gunpowder actually didn't make them revive? I feel like gunpowder may be like the silver bullet against the twin gods. Maybe this maybe the tree is weak against it. I think maybe. Today you'll be taking your first trip to the silver tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness this landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everybody is excited. Soon, you and the other boys enter a slum surrounding the church district of Anizot. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all throughout the area. Pathetic, crumpled hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. Maybe a reason for us not getting it is because we didn't talk to Nathan, because I got a feeling that Nathan could be the key to unlocking the epiphany. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of tree. It almost seems a part of it. There's a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments among some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree branches. The tree impresses you with its might and the calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of the classmates. You notice a small path. It should take you right next to the trunk. A tall red-haired woman walks out of the pilgrim. She's wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and is covered in freckles. Her hands clutches a book. You have never seen this lady pilgrim before. Yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Matilda, a preacher from Astinia. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learning the teaching of the twins, she says. Yet you will never follow the light of the truth within the walls of the temple. Inside, you will only find the lies about the Lord, the erring of the words of a prophet, Essentials, sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet, anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives know that they never so much as mention the Lord's. Red-haired teacher, words frighten you. They clash with everything you have heard from mother. Everything you have been taught at school, the lots, are a lie? You freeze in fear. Should you argue with Matilda or ask her for more information? Or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl next to you. She is just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered by a handkerchief with only a single golden lock showing it. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired creature. Huh? You stare in confusion at the strange young girl. Your cheek flushed by the sudden touch. There is just a bit of color on her cheeks too, but then she starts to speak to you quickly. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me. Only there you will see the truth. Gee, can you make this any more subtle? John. Insight! How? How do I gain the insight? You stand there surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims and the sound of shuffling feet, torn between two people you have never seen before. And each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you. Can you hear its voice? Temple, no. Maybe like the epiphany, because we didn't get it from Nathan. Maybe, if you ask me, we need to save Sophia. Then we can get the insight. Okay, let me try to think. If I follow the girl into the temple, I feel like she's going to be very religious, so it's gonna increase my theology. But the point is, I don't want to believe in the temple teaching. Okay, now stay with the red-haired pilgrim. It's basically like probably going to improve our ingenuity because like she's siding with the commoner. If I leave them and approach the tree, it's quite useless because like it's going to be a lower level compared to the epiphany. So I think I'll stay with the red-haired pilgrim. Okay, because like maybe like she's gonna give us ingenuity. You shrug, smile sheepishly at the girl, and walk towards the red-haired preacher. This Matilda of Sinia, she speaks too strangely to be ignored. You feel she will be leaving soon anyway. And the temple? Surely the temple is not going anywhere. The lady preacher hands her book to you. There are words on the cover. The lives of the twins. The book is so heavy, you almost drop it. The crowd around you barely allows for a proper reading. The best you can do is flip through the pages and hope to glimpse a message or two from it. Matilda's hushed voice comments over each new page. This book was written by the disciple of the twins. When the twin gods descended and brought faith into the world, they walked the lands with them. It is filled with many stories and wonders and battles, as well as records of twins' own sermons and dialogues. They discuss many things that now guide the living, the fate that awaits us on the shining pillar, and the eternal life after true death, the profane evil of magic. Yet, Matilda points out something that you cannot help but notice yourself. There is not one mention of the Lord in this book. How can this be? You ask her. It is what it is, she responds. The twins never spoke of them. They never left any teaching behind. Nothing but their deeds and their own lives in this book. You frown. Then how come we know about the Lords now? They exist thanks to Isacius, she says. Isacius, favored by the gods, the elder's favorite disciple, walked the lands by his side, and through his hardship unto his fatal end in Eterna, they came to be, she explains. And people came to Isacius and asked him how they should live. Yet Isacius was but a man, and his teaching of the laws were not a divine revelation, but a speculation of his own devising. This is much tougher than learning prayers. So, if the teaching of laws come not from the gods, but rather from their student, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for the people? A new faith? The red-haired preacher says with a smile. You think about her words for a long time as the silver tree whispers above your head. The very tree grown from the blood of the people who walked the land with a younger and elder. Wait, give me a second. So in other words, like the new... Okay. The new faith. The new faith is about lots, okay? Now, let's check the province. Old faith. Old faith is like the original teaching of the twins. So the old faith is better than the new faith. We should push it to 5 unto -5. Just one more push. One more push. Like, we want the new faith to fall. You keep on thinking about it even as you make your way home and into bed. Your conclusion brings you no comfort. If that strange lady preacher was right, then you are supposed to be free to interpret the twins' words yourself. Which means that you and only you should be responsible for your life and fate in the hereafter. But who can tell for sure? Yep, I was right. An acolyte in the Temple of Silver Tree in Athens thought, she's zealous adherent of the old faith. Wait, now I'm confused. Wait. So if the teaching of the Lords come not from the gods, but rather from their student, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for you? A new faith. Wait, in other words, a new faith is like it's the other way around. The old faith is where how should I say this? Old faith is where there's lots. So new faith is the one without the lots. Is that it? Okay, in other words, like, we got an uphill battle if we want to change it. We got this to change the church to fall of the old faith. Oh, this patriarch of the Magra province and the founder of New Faith. He was the first to defy the laws established in the teaching of Isacius. He encouraged people to find the twin gods within and says that everyone is equal in the twins' eyes. Okay, I'll be with him. Melanidas, Supreme Lord in the province of your birth, known for being obstinate and despotic, notorious even about Archnians. I want to overthrow this guy. You cannot fall asleep at night, so they were lying to you this whole time. In the morning, you still mutter off a prayer and the words of your Lord. To work, endure, and suffer. But is it all worth it if the laws don't really exist? Is it the will of the twins after all? Did they actually speak through their will through Isacius? And those who defy that will are defying the true order of the world? This question will remain in your mind for a long time. Spirituality. Uh-oh. Maybe I should have gone for the tree. Another school day has ended. You making your way home, still mulling over the things you learned from the teachers, the founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty, the three estates, each with its own rights. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least that way when your teachers talk about it. Now, please don't give me the branching point for Gloria now. Mother is waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expressions still show great concern. Father left on a trip to several distant migrant towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? You join your mother in a prayer to the twins. She prays in fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words and obedience to them and their greater design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her, just as she taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. Skamu, my son, you're 13 now. You'll be grown soon. It is time you learn about the certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It's about Father and me, and about our marriage. Wait, you're getting a divorce? Oh, you gaze curiously into Mother's eye. I'm sure you wondered about this before. Your father is a nobleman of the mantle. How could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, Skamu, your father, when his first wife Amalia Elborn died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost his will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then, he met me. You know the trouble I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask for help, protection, and justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me. May his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored his lot to rule, but he took me by force. Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Wait, that's Father? Gloria is that nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with a lowborn progeny? He turned me out on the street with that little baby girl in my arms. Oh my God. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hand tenderly. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that at the very moment, the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me into his own home. No wonder Gloria was never grandfather was especially harsh towards Gloria. I thought just because she is a woman. And it turns out Gloria is not even a Brante. Maybe Gloria is actually, this is just my speculation, Duke Melanidas. But the thing is, he's so high, he's from a dynasty. Why would he spend, I think it would be beneath him. It's what I think. Tears are running down Mother's cheeks. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer. But caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, he's still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brantes all over Anizot. It was only thanks to the effort of Sir Gregor and the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. And now, the noble family have all but forgotten about the scandal. Thank the twins. Mother falls silent. She looks at you intently. Do you understand what she is telling you? My son, I'm not telling you just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted grief. You need to understand the heavy burden your family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brante. Even if the elder Brantes agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of the high society. And if that were to happen, Scamu, they would see even your birth as illegitimate. Mother sighs heavily. What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You are about to enter adult life by my lot. I must humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family. But, may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as a sister? Except Gloria is a sister. Regardless of her origin, Gloria will always be family. Filled with determination, you assure Mother and Gloria that Gloria is always and always be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brante too. You want her to be part of your family. Who cares what the nobles of Anizot say? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. Oh, Tskamu, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last. However, the joy on her face quickly gives way to concern. But I already owe good Sir Robert and a debt I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much, a home, an education, his care and advice. The Brante bloodline could suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all just learn to accept her status as it is. Just then, you hear Gloria carefully knock at the door of Mother's chambers. Mother, Scamu, I couldn't find you. You happily greet your sister. Yes, she is your sister. No secrets can change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. You and your sister walk downstairs. Mother is alone by her bedside now, thanking the twins with a quiet prayer for the Brante family they have given her. You hope they can hear her. Like, if you're in the mother's position, you can really understand, why she endured the pain, because she went through so much. The illegitimate daughter, so now finally, because we only have the last paragraph before this. She has never met her real father. Her position in the family is precarious. Robert Brante has never acknowledged her as his own daughter. I think he wants to. And I do think that he treats Gloria as his own daughter. But I got a feeling like down the line, like the nobleman is gonna like come back and like try to bring back Gloria. You are 13 now, another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priest and why the clergy is the only one of the three estates with the right to interpret the laws and guide the other two estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing as he fervently writes down the teacher's very word. But you heard all of this from Mother many times before, so you take this moment to daydream a little. Father promises to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name of Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said. Brian freezes and seems to shrink. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now leans over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed, and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it sharply and about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash, the teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic. Just like the books about the Magra rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There's a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rents the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks on his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run for the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his finger, and the books of his sages on the desk turn into pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arm, and the curtains catch fire. The screams grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames, and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps towards the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. Wait, is it like a devil? He's going to burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor, even through his clothes, his body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Thomas by the shoulders with his burning hands. Thomas howls but stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They are putting out the fire and take away the teacher. His body is covered with horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. Soon, 3 men in black cloaks enter the doors of the school, each bearing an edict with silver, the Inquisition. You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remained behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explained. The ungodly power that twists the minds of men into savage instrument of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of twins can save us from the evil grasp. Next day, you're forbidden to ever mention about Brian's name again. He is no more. Ooh, Max. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire, blessed by the twins themselves. The Emperor's reign continues into its 2nd century. Celebrations in honor of the Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks because of that. One of the evening, father tells everyone that grandfather is going to bring Stephen back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate Day of Anointment together. You could benefit from your older brother's company. With his noble education, Stephen might be able to teach you how a nobleman is supposed to act. Soon, Stephen arrived. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around the house, ignoring Gloria, he is still grandfather's double. But he is more grown up now, and far less haughty to you. It is a dark winter evening. A damp cool wind seeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stephen are sitting in the library. It is telling you all about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It is full of many wonders. Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You have read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I look everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak out off to the ruins of Char Milanida's palace. She could be lost in there. Oh no. You and Stephen exchange looks. Char Milanidas, the rebellious duke. The ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there back again to prove that you are not afraid of the long-dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in his sheath. Get ready, Scamu. You're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you've gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. You are confused by Steven's action. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he still determined to rescue her? Steven notices your expression. Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. The ruins of Shah Melanida's palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the land steer clear of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts. Look at the lass, sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble, but don't you worry, you low-born tart. We're gonna teach you your place. One of the louds spits at Gloria as she lies there. Get away from her this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with a mocking laughter. Steven draws his sword. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is the only armed man against many. They started reaching out for sticks and stones. Stand by my side, don't let them flank me. Steven's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He is outnumbered. For a moment, you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run off for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Steven cautiously. This one probably be noble, but I feel like this one would be ingenuity. Yeah, I think that's it. Call the guard. The louds try to flank Steven and surround him. Your brother's sword thrusts and feints methodically like in training bout. The thugs keep dodging and jumping away. They manage to stay safe so far. If things continue like this, soon one of them will flank Steven, kick the sword out of his hand and bring him down. The ruffians are paying no attention to you, however. Steven slashes with his sword. One of the young men falls. The other rush at your brother. You get Gloria on her feet as she stares at you in astonishment. It's time to find the guards. You find guards dressed in Archduke's color patrolling the nearby district. You tell them that a gang of low-born thugs have assaulted a young nobleman, but when you make your way back, the loud's bodies are already fading away. Steven is on his feet, his sword sinking in the last foe that's left standing. He smiles at you faintly, then his eyes roll back onto his feet, into his head, and he collapses. The guards bring Steven back home. Grandfather sends for the doctor the moment he sees his favorite grandson is unconscious. The doctor quickly brings Steven back to his senses and bandages the injuries on his left arm. Sir Gregor never left Steven's side. You acted like a true nobleman, Steven. You fought for the family's honor, even though you needn't have risked your life for that freeloading wench. The burden of a noble is a tough one to bear. We must obey our lord so that the lowly estate may toil for theirs. But when the low-born scum grow insolent, we must be there to put them in place. Now, I fully believe that, thanks to you, the Brante name will be written in Blue Book, my boy. Your deeds will forever be remembered in our family's blood tide. And all of us will be there. You and your father, all of us. Words cannot express how proud I am of you. You leave your brother's side without a word. Grandfather will never recognize you as a Stephen's equal or father's true heir. He will never treat you as a part of the family. He thinks he will not add a single worthy deed to the family's blood tide. You, Nathan, and Mother, he acts like all of you are unworthy to even bear the Brante name. Had you acted differently that night, would Grandfather be proud of you? Who knows? Okay, ingenuity. I was aiming for that. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Ingenuity plus 4. Today, you and Thomas are to explore the streets of the castle district. You delve deep into the district, right to the old siege of walls of Anizot. The city needs these walls no longer. There are no more enemies for the Empire left to fight. Since the Twin descended and chose the Tempest dynasty to rule the Empire, it has spread one sea to sea, bringing its rule and peace for many generations. The two of you gaze in awe at the old charcoal black marks on the former fortress wall. They say magic wielders during Shah Melanida's rebellion could conjure gusts of fire with their own hands. The rebellious duke fought against the Emperor and the Church of the Twin Gods in the days of yore. But nothing remains of his rebellion, now save for scorched ruin and the parched land towards Magra. You and your friend study the old walls and daydream about the battles that took place here during the rebellion. But when you hear a muffled voice coming from somewhere below the ground, you look around to find a hole in the brickwork where the sounds are coming from. Naturally, you take a peek. You see a half-ruined hall built below the ground, and a handful of young men and women standing there in the dark. They look a little bit older than you and are wearing plain shirts and dresses. A young man is standing on a piece of crumbled wall, reciting some of his poetry. He tells the story of a nobleman who fell into a puddle thanks to his gaudy cloak, and none of his noble bearings was of any help. He ends with a farcical bow. You hear applause and laughter. He gets down from the crumbled wall, and a young girl takes his place. You cannot see her face in the darkness, but her voice is a voice you could recognize anywhere. It's Gloria. Your sister begins to recite a poem she has written. Nay, Gloria, yours is no proper life. You are to be a mother and a wife. Accept the kitchen apron for gag. And lo, another voice now takes a track. You're straying from your lot, you've got some nerve. Eyes down and be obedient, and serve your husband. Children, how they are absolute. Nay, Gloria, you are but rotten fruit. You lean down to her to hear her better, but sand and stones fall from under your feet into the underground hall. Gloria looks up and meets your gaze. Thomas pulls you away from the hole. So they're reading poem. Imagine that. They sure hate nobles. And even Gloria. I never thought that your sister could do that. But they're sure gonna get in trouble if they get spotted by an adult. Bad-mouthing a noble will get you flogged into next week. Not to mention all the trouble you can get into for writing poems if you're a commoner. You better tell your sister to lay off. You better stay away from them too. You nod. Being around these people puts Gloria in danger, but you know your sister. It will not be easy to tell her this. Your adventure in the castle district is done for tonight. You and your friend return home. During dinner, Gloria will not look at you. Her hair is all disheveled. Is she afraid or is she ashamed? You are also worried sick. These literary gatherings may spell danger for your sister, but for an illegitimate child like her, there are so few ways to forge your own path. Dinner is over. Soon, you and Gloria are alone at the table. What are you going to tell her? It could be bad for Gloria. You promise to keep your sister's secret safe and help her. Keep Gloria's secret. Gloria finally looks at you. You wink at your sister and promise to keep her secret. You praise the poetry you were able to overhear and confess that you were impressed. A big joyous smile appears on her face. I'm so happy, brother. I thought you were going to tell me to stop going there and say what mother would say about my lot. But I'm glad you're not like that. Me and my friends, without poetry, we don't have anything else left. Nothing but our abysmal daily lives. At least we can laugh about it this way. You get serious and tell her that her friends need to work much harder to hide their meetings. After all, this secret passion could end badly for them if they get caught. The best way out of this is to meet in a new place every time. You list off several abandoned places nearby where nobody will look for them. You promise her that if she ever comes close to danger, you'll be there to protect her. Gloria nods and plants a kiss of sisterly joy on your cheek. Ingenuity. Uh-oh. Assailants? Trail of the assailants. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of lowborn thugs assaulted Stephen Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Perfect Elborn, a family of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stephen and Grandfather decide to stay in Anizot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can a worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Yet the twins god also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stephen, a born nobleman, have committed grave offense. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your schoolbook and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too, as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me, but Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says I will ruin the case. Why am I always the way? Nobody ever mentions me. Nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stephen standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become a part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now. Juliet tries her best to hold back her tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he take me into the house at all? Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There's a knock at the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There's an exhausted look about him. Son, you'll be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The lowborn man insulted Stephen first and then attacked him. Stephen had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the gods intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are all counting on you. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs, her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies she is part of the family? But if you do what father tells you, the trial will end quickly. The commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated and you cannot predict the trial end. How the trial will end. Which is more important to you? What is right or what is just? You are determined to change father's mind and make sure Gloria gets the fair treatment she deserves. Convince father. You look father straight in the eye and tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to Sir Elborn? And what of Gloria? Is she not a Brante too? Does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather is right. She is just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame. If so, how come father agreed to take her into his home and under his protection? Saying this to father is tough. Deep inside, you pray he hears no weakness in your voice and sees no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems he is listening to you intently. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper as his fingers stammer out a staccato against the armrest. This is going to be tough, son, but you're right. You're right. I took Gloria into my home, so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stand by it. I will speak with Stephen in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears my change of heart. The day comes, the trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You are the first to testify in the court. You tell the court the truth about that night. How the thugs humiliated Gloria, how Stephen and you came to help her, and how Stephen defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on trial cry out, "It is the truth!" Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stephen was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had assaulted his half-sister. You spread your feet and stand firm and inhale before you speak next. You ask the honor, "Is it not a nobleman's duty to honor his family's name?" Gloria does not have Brante's name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stephen's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rush through the courtroom. You have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Stephen is next to testify next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while. His arm in the sling is his main argument. Stephen wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end, the commoners were the first to assault him. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and rises to deliver his sentence. The court of Anizot finds you guilty of assaulting Sir Brante, a nobleman who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All four defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging. There is no wind, but you feel a gust swept through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by this sentence, and by that, the very sentence the life of the four young men who are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallows await. Stephen stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood creaks. The trapdoors open under the young man's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at home. He screams at you and father and Stephen and Gloria. This trial is a disgrace. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father say they had to defend their family. It would have been truly a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibility. Stephen excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet but glowing. You stay quiet too. It is all over now. But isn't she gonna be punished because like she read poetry? Like, it is a sin, right? It is all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman? Uh-oh. Punish honor. Oof. Harmony. Nobility, up. Spirituality, up. Willpower, down. Okay, this I understand why it goes down, because like, it does take a lot of courage. Stephen leaves soon after the trial alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is now mostly bedridden now. On some days, he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, mother locks herself in her chambers, you and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lords any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children has no respect, his son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honor. Again and again you hear grandfather's knocking at mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare his children his decline. Father refuses outright. It is late at night. Oh my god, he's freaking creepy. Look at his face! The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, mother, and grandfather in his bed. Father has left the capital on business. You are engrossing in the history of the empire, snapping out of the reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside the door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather. What could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he is past. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the doors to mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner. I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin, and you and what you have done to Robert and his family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from tainting this house by your presence. Why oh why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence. You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flame will flee Robert from this disgrace. This is for my son, for my son's sake. For my sake. I need to eradicate this low-born filth. The twins, they are calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out of bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brante. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Camus. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed. Driven to madness, his hand shakes as he clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You are truly torn. You're suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back now. You have but a moment to act. No. Stop, grandfather. You look at grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with a rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug, not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp glass is blistering hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely. You low-born scum. You ruined everything. You're every bit like your mother. You. Enraged, he takes a swing and you squeeze your eyes shut. He does not hit you. Instead, there's deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse, all his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face is grimace in contempt. Another heavy exhalation, the contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise. He exhales. His eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. She is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many nights afterwards, she keeps seeing grandfather's shadow out the corner of her eye. Father returns from maternal the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranged for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazy old man is no longer. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter. Honorable. Uh-oh. I need to improve my willpower again. Your grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world forever to meet the twin gods. Discover secret society has joined. Last respects, huh? Destiny. Huh. Oh well. Oh well. The night of the grandfather's death shook your family to the core, yet no matter how it happened, your grandfather Gregor Brante is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Brante patriarch exerting his influence on all the lives below him. And all of you will remember him forever. Father is the new patriarch of the family now, yet he still cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stephen locked himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. Gloria and Nathan still jump at the every sound that so much resembled the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple. And yet, the house had become calm and quiet with his passing. But there is one more thing that must be done. The final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay for your final respect. Father goes to the tomb alone and save for Stephen, Nathan, and you. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles or those who may become nobles may join this ritual. There is a solemn silence as you walk to the crypt. Father is the one who breaks this silence when you finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever. The first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now hold the sacrament of the flowing blood of Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. Stephen perks up at father's work. His hands still clutch at grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. Stairs carved of white stone lead you downward. Deep in the gloom of the crypt, Atop a pedestal, you see a sarcophagus that holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family from nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. He sought to make the Brante family a noble by the sword so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I abided by my father's words all my life. Even I could not obey him every time. Father lets out a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stephen glares at father, then glares at Nathan at you. After all, the two of you were born of father's shameful decision to marry a commoner. All of you remember this disastrous passing. He did not die a true death he deserved. Yet, we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in, to the very end. And he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with the sacrament of the nobility. Stephen glares at father suddenly. His fingers remain clutched around father's sword. Nathan barely pays attention to the words. He looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on your palm of your hand and let your blood flow into the dark of the wall of the crypt. You will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. The ancestor and progeny will become as one. We shall enter our family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing. For his blood flows first in our blood tide, he will respond to you. You are part of him and he is part of you. Huh? Wait. Blood tide? Nobleman's sacrament? Can I join? With a quick motion, father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stephen. Stephen cuts his hand without hesitation and does as father. You receive the dagger next. The dagger handle feels warm. You hesitate for a moment as you look at the palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter Brante's blood tide. You, a lowborn child, a child who is still a commoner. Are you ready to claim your legacy as a descendant of the noble of the Gregor Brante? The eyes of your father and brother are upon you. Nathan, the youngest brother, will follow your example. You can be certain of this. No. You still recall your first sacrament and how you defied the lash? You are Gregor's Brante's grandson, so you are deserved. Yeah, I can't do much. You return the dagger to father and say you cannot participate in the ritual. You are a commoner and your back bears the mark of the lash. Grandfather would never have let you honor his name as a nobleman. Nathan nods in agreement. You do not deserve this honor. Father furrows his brow and shakes his head. Stephen, help me close the lid of the sarcophagus. I remember to ask grandfather for his blessing. And as for you two, it seems you weren't ready to walk the nobleman's path after all. You're right, son. Your father would have never allowed it. The lid of the sarcophagus falls into place with a heavy resonant thud. Then, suddenly, all freeze as each of you hears the late grandfather speak to you, his voice loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt. And yet, he speaks to each of you separately. Foul blood, weakling. I knew you never had it to rise above your meager birth, scum. You have not a drop of nobility in you, and pathetic little brother is the same. You are a taint of my flesh and blood. Begone from my crypt. Your legs carry out the whip out of their own accord. Out! Out! of that stuffy crypt, you can finally breathe again. You hear slow footsteps behind you. You turn around and meet Nathan's gaze. You did the right thing. If it weren't for you, I'd have done what Father told us. Grandfather said I should stay away from his legacy. Said I'll do no good if I try to follow his footsteps. How's that words for guidance, eh? Nathan sighs as he embraces you. Father and Stephen leave the crypt much later and walk to the carriage without a word. You and Nathan humbly follow behind them. Willpower +5. Ooh, the future go. Grandfather passing like. There's so many girls. Too bad I can't say Sophia. In other words, like Sophia, we really need to save her, to think about it since chapter 1. Grandfather's passing and last respect have left a mark on the entire family. Let's see what time is it. Okay, after this event, we'll end the stream, regardless of what it is. You still do your best to avoid memory of the grandfather last night, and spend more time on the city streets with Thomas and your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes, as you walk around, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes, and the terrifying thundery hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby her say her parents sent her to a rich Archean Empire family, the Ordons, as a servant. The sun has set, the pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Thomas is ill, so you decided to visit him and tell him the latest news. The street seems oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and harsh voices. A young nobleman in a heavy embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There's a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He's Archean. You overhear voices. Sir Auden, the girl's not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Doris on. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must. But bring my servant back to me this year. Sophia? She ran away from the Archean? How can this be? There's only one place in the entire street where a person could hide. The abandoned Moral House, 4 houses away of yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. The lopsided house built of yellow brick has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She's almost an adult now. Her face is full of fear. She's not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Scammer. Be quiet. They're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Autumn. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in slavery. I'm just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There's a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them about the man I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Ordons. They don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off, are you? The barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Auden's men is so close you can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed and impatient. You have already heard this voice today. If you're in there, girl, you'll be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All of you will be forgiven, and you will go back to where you were. You know it. If you don't, I'll drag you by the hair. Oh shit. No. Good, I'll help Sophia flee. The hilt of the young Archean sword bashes at the door. He's about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Arcane orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? Help Sophia flee. Go, Sophia! You grab Sophia's hand as you run down the stairs to the old cellar. She resists you at first until she reads your lips. There is a secret way out. You sneak away into the cellar, leading the way. The floorboards groan above your heads as the Arcane and his man searches the house. But only children who grew up in the district know that this cellar leads to the neighboring district. You lead Sophia to the hole in the cellar floor and help her squeeze in. There is an odd tunnel that leads to a well 2 streets away. None of the children know who dug it, yet you played here and chased each other through it so many times as a lad. And now, this secret passage will rescue Sophia from genuine pursuit. Soon, you are in the well. There is nothing above you save the sky full of clouds. You wait until you hear no more steps around you, then climb out of the well and help Sophia up. You lead the way to the slums around the temple district, the easiest place to disappear. A dog in the nearby house starts barking. One of Autumn's men appears in front of you. You take a step back as your fingers search for a brick, ready to defend Sophia no matter the cost. He squeezes your hand, and then you hear a high-pitched scream of rage. A flash of yellow light stuns you. In the blink of an eye, Autumn's man freezes and collapses, unable to get up. Huh? Sophia's eyes are no longer sky blue, but they are yellow now. She lets go of your hand. You recoil in fear. You weren't supposed to see that, Scamu. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. But I won't let them take me. I won't go back to the Orden after this. I need to run. Run as far as my legs can take me. Thank you for helping me, and farewell. Sophia gives you a gentle kiss on the cheek, and disappears down the dark alleyway. You stand there, stunned. Sophia is a witch? Her magic bound Auden's man by the arms and legs. It made him unable to move. You hear Auden screams of rage and the thumping of his man's feet, but Sophia is long gone. It's a shame that that was all you can do for her. Trusting. The runaway girl becomes the talk of your district for an entire week. You overhear that Sophia managed to flee the city. The Audens are furious. After this sudden appearance, she disappears from your life once more. You will not see her again until much later. But I still wanted to save her, you know? Damn it. In the beginning. Okay, we gotta replenish our willpower. There's one more. Okay, we finish it, okay? We'll finish it. We'll finish our adolescence. You're about to turn 15, just one step from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. No, don't you dare leave home today. I forbid it. That dirty heretic Fotis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance at each other again. Fotis, he is patriarch, the head of the clergy throughout the entire province. This is the first time you heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear the sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Fortis? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown up now. Surely you have the right to know. Let me guess. Gloria's father. You agree with your sister. Together, you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all the ranks and estate. This is barely enough room for you to squeeze through the crowd. The crowd has gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up the roof of a nearby building so you can hear everything better. And not a moment too soon, from the roof you see a tall silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree. Dressed in common black robe that looks far beneath his rank. Yet, he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind, the open book. This is the symbol of the new faith, the crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hand up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Fotis speaks of a great mistake. We entrusted ourselves to the Lord as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all these years, the will of the twins have been interpreted by a single man, Prophet Isaicius. The twins are ever watching from atop of the shining pillar. Of this we have no doubt. But how can we blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Isaicius fail and fail again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Archnean, lowborn or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. But from now on, we will seek gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own path. The crowd at the silver tree listens to the patriarch's speech is stunned silent. Glance at your sister. Her eye glistens with tears as she hears Fotis' words. Then suddenly a hoarse cry from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are gonna till the fields and the commoners are gonna bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform. A dirty beggar dressed in rags, a knife flashes in his hand. The blade slices, blood starts spurting from Fotis' throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where he had stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence, and then the screams began. The people are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. The old woman dressed in the Inquisitor cassock tries in vain to apply pressure on the patriarch's womb. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying, and shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening. But your parents discuss every little detail of the bloodstained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight. The gendarmes and the Archduke guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a gruesome crime. Fotis has died a true death. True death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, there's no hope for you to come back, not even after your first of your death. Emperor, their powerful vassals, head of the Archnean dynasty, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Fotis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch. Children, let us hope he managed to return to the old faith before the moment of his passing. But there is little hope for that. Old faith. Discontent. Tomorrow, you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Tibor School has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You have to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck at the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers drag you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to become a noble by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be one to write the name of Brante in the blue book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then, mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son Stephen. Your firstborn was born a noble. You will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of a priest is worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of the nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stephen and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everybody gets up the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Scamo. Can't you see? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You toss his hair in response. There is no way you can stay now, you say. When you come home, you will come home. You tell him the stories and bring you special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have learned. All the things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where mother used to read fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend her time. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place seems so familiar, dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms, but you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan. It'll be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with? Gloria. Gloria. Indeed, your sister is still awake. She jumps out of armchair happily the moment she sees you. I'm so happy you're actually here, brother. You know, before you leave, I actually have to tell you something. Gloria takes your hand and leads you to the library. You light a lamp. Gloria pulls out a hefty volume from one of the shelves. Look, this is the history of noble houses. It's the story of how humans were first ennobled. I read all of it, and guess what? It didn't happen after the expansion of the empire. Apparently, there weren't enough Arcanians for all the land. They just couldn't rule it all by themselves. Arcanians have always treated humans like cattle, but human nobles are even worse. They are like their paltry copies now, bearing noble titles, wearing gem-studded jackets, bossing around others and poisoning their lives. They make me sick. Everybody say nobles are born to rule, but if you ask me, they are nobodies. There's nothing noble about demeaning others and living off their hard work. Gloria is growing unusually agitated. You knew she was not exactly fond of nobles, but this is the first time you have heard such burning scorn in her voice. But then, Gloria stops herself suddenly and calms down. I just wanted to tell you, brother, if you don't actually become a noble, if you're a noble, you have to follow their rules, like Stephen does. You're not like him, I know it. Don't listen to mother, and definitely do not listen to your father. They just want you to blindly follow them. It's true Sir Brante spent plenty of money and effort on your education, but a noble title and judge rank was his dream for you, not yours. It's time to think for yourself. Her words spark a dispute. You keep debating it into the small hours. Soon, you both start reaching into history and politics for morals and material, pulling out library books one by one to prove your points. It turns out Gloria is an excellent debater. All the days and nights she spent in the library have honed her mind and rhetorical skills. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you're not tired at all. But before you return to your rooms, Gloria locks you in a heartfelt hug. Skamu, please promise me you'll find your way out of there. You nod to her and hug her back. and she is off. You get into bed, but you cannot sleep. Gloria's words keep you up at night. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Is it over? Days of youth. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall the childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding street of Anizot. You clash with the greater world around you and survive. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed first-hand events that will remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age, and yet you live on. You have a friend who's been by your side at all these years. Thomas taught you many things: how to take a hit, how to keep your word, how to remain true to your own self. And now, Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family at home. What awaits you in the future? I think we're gonna meet Sophia again. Matters of the heart. I think this is Sophia. Wait, romantic feeling? Continue. Ooh. Youth. Let's check out a bit.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the Empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
Ooh. Okay, let's just take a look at the overview. We're just gonna take a look at the overview and then we're gonna end the stream, okay? The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and say goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas' youngest brother in tow, tears glistening in their eye. He tries to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stephen. It is a city that surpasses Anizot enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what's it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there? Where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anizot. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Thomas built together out of wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You are both adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, not abandon, or perhaps your brother will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from the street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish for a different future for you, but they are behind you now. From this point, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout the entire childhood. Ahead of you lie many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and place in society. New personal qualities. These are your personal qualities in adulthood, which will use for the rest of your life. These are some of qualities you gain in childhood and adolescence. For most skill checks, you will need a value between 10 to 16. Values 17 and 19 are for rare and special difficult choices. The maximum value 20 only gives you a chance for one extraordinary deed. Ooh. Masterful diplomat. I am very perceptive. Ooh. Oh. Weak in battle. Determination. Scheming. Conspirator. Ooh. Great order. Okay. Path of the Lawless. Remain a commoner. Theology more 10. Eloquence. Path of the Nobleman. Diplomacy 10 more. Wait. Diplomacy. Uh-oh. 10 of Valor. Damn it. Who deaf? Ooh. Okay, I'll go for Nobleman. Alice's Rescue. You save the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. Okay, I want to try and save. You fail to protect the Lawless. The Empire utterly destroyed the secret society. The Lawless at large. You rescue the Lawless, and the secret society continues activities in the capital. Outwit Philippe. We gotta outwit Philippe. Give me a second. Let me check. Manipulation. I think this is it. Bond of friendship. Swear an oath to Thomas. Okay, Shield of New Faith. You side with the New Faith and support the transformation of the church. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna go for our youth, okay, tomorrow. But tomorrow I might start the stream a bit late because I want to go and cut my hair. So normally I start at 10. Tomorrow I'll start 11, so an hour later, okay? So with that said, I'll end the stream here because like we got through a lot, okay? And see you tomorrow. Bye bye.